Te reo ererangi o te mānia. This episode was produced in Otatahi by Plains Media, with support from New Zealand On Air.
Kia ora and welcome to Emergence News. My name is Nigel and in the studio joining me today is Peter. Welcome, Peter.
Yeah, hi Nigel. How are you today?
I'm actually really good. I had a hot coffee, a hot cup of tea this morning. Unlike you last time, I remember about a month ago, John, you had a cold coffee. How did you end up with a cold coffee?
And you know what? I paid for it too, which is even more frustrating. Popped into my local on the way in for the drive-in.
Yeah.
And it was cold.
Okay.
And I didn't realise that until I was in the car and gone.
It's taken you weeks to get over it, but you're in a better mood today.
I've had some counselling, Nigel. I'm almost there.
He's almost there. Hey, what are you looking at today, John?
I've got the glossary of esoteric terms loaded, and I'm going to just pick off a couple of ideas.
Okay, just give us a hint of what you're going to cover.
I'm going to look at the word avatar. And I'm going to look at the forces of darkness and the forces of light.
Looking forward to that. The glossary of esoteric terms, which was, of course, a feature at the back of a number of Benjamin Creme's books.
Yes, and I've picked up this one off the Share International website. And if you go to the front page of the Share International website, the global one, in depth to the left, down on the bottom pane, there's glossary of esoteric terms.
And later on in the program, Peter, you've got an article on what subject?
On glamour, Nigel, by Benjamin Creme's master.
Now, if we look at the glossary of esoteric terms, what does glamour mean, John?
Glamour is that ability that humans have to attach an emotional value to everything they see and hear. And we call it glamour when it's emotional and illusion when it's mental,
Correct.
Peter. Okay. So it's that ability to surround yourself with emotion rather than reality. And we are awash with it.
Dripping with it.
And it's being provided to us in great big gobfuls by social media and commercialisation and materialisation pulls at your emotional desires.
And it comes really from the Atlantean civilization, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That was what their project was, to develop the emotions and to integrate them into their being. And now, of course, we've got to move out of it.
Yeah, Benjamin Creme tells us that the majority of humanity is astrally polarised, and astral is the esoteric word for the emotions. And we have most of our attention is on our abdominal centre. Our astral centre is the solar plexus, and if you're not keeping your attention high, you'll be wallowing around in that astral centre and emotionifying, if there is such a word, everything you see and hear. And I love that quote that you don't believe what you see what you believe. That is astral.
And there are professions that absolutely trigger that, aren't they? You know, if you think about the world of advertising, if you think about the world of politics, they are zeroing in on our astral centre.
And one of the major ideas that sits in that astral centre, that emotional centre, is fear. And humanity is awash with fear. And those aforementioned groups, professions that you've talked about, Nigel, who pound us with social media and information, are targeting our fears and targeting our emotions.
And technology, of course.
Yep. And we're enthralled. We're enthralled to materialism, and we're enthralled by the mechanism of that astral energy.
We mentioned Benjamin Creme a few moments ago, author of esoteric books, and after 44 years in circulation, the printed edition of Share International magazine is moving to a digital web page version next year in 2026. So it's moving to a free, and that's the part I like. Mm-hmm. It's going to be free. So if you have been listening to us over the years, reading out articles or talking about articles in the Share International magazine, and you've often thought to yourself, gosh, sounds like a good quality publication. I must subscribe, but you never got round to it. Well, from next year, you'll be able to hook on to the new digital web page version of Share International magazine. And if you want any more information about that, go to the USA Share International website. There's information there where you can organise yourself to get the magazine from next year on. That's quite a neat,
for free.
A new development, isn't it? The new digital format will continue to provide a spiritual perspective on the political, social, and economic changes that are now occurring on a worldwide scale. So the magazine, like everything, is in a evolutionary path. It's moving on. And I quite like it. What do you think, Peter? It's going to the magazine's going to actually reach more people now, isn't it?
Oh, it is, and we certainly have to embrace that. It's going to open up the whole thing. I think that's it's ridiculous when the postage becomes more expensive than the actual magazine itself. Now it's its time has passed.
And they have hinted, the editorial staff have hinted at the possibility of being able to interact with the magazine because it will be an online publication. So we'll be able to interact more easily with the folk, the journalists and the article writers. So I like the sound of that. All right, John, what are you looking at today?
I've got a couple of words. We've talked about previously the word avatar. And I know that out in the gaming world, the word avatar is used for one thing. And I'm going to offer up the esoteric definition.
So what's the definition of an avatar? It's a visitor to our planet, isn't it?
So an avatar is a spiritual being who descends in answer to mankind's call and need. There are human, planetary and cosmic avatars.
That word descend interests me because it's not a straightforward process for an enlightened being to descend to the planet. It's a physical ordeal they go through, isn't it?
Well, I think the Maitreya the Christ has two avatars, doesn't he, John, overshadowing him. And one is a cosmic being with 12 levels of cosmic consciousness, which is absolutely unbelievable. This is just great help for Maitreya to bring through this incredible love energy.
Yeah, I guess the avatar that manifests in a physical body has to go through the birth process, has to go through the birth channel. There is. It is a. I was going to say a backward step. It's not a backward step, but it is a sacrifice for a cosmic being to descend as an avatar. So let me finish the definition. Their teaching, correctly apprehended and gradually applied by humanity, expands our understanding and presents the next step forward in humanity's evolutionary development. Now, underneath this, Peter, is the term avatar of synthesis, which is the being you're talking about. The avatar of synthesis is a great cosmic being who embodies the energies of will, love, intelligence, and another energy for which we have as yet no name. Since the 1940s, he has been sending these energies into the world, gradually transforming division into unity. That is the one that's also overshadowing Maitreya. Looking a little bit further into this list.
John, can I ask a question there? The being that we have no name for, is that because we cannot articulate an accurate description of that being or that God?
I think it's the energy, isn't it, that we don't have
a name for.
Krem
has referred often to this avatar of synthesis, but that's all.
Yes,
that's all right. He said.
It's basically turning the evil into good.
That's right. Benjamin Creme has said that this energy that this avatar is bringing in will reflect the same amount of synthesis that is currently being held by destructiveness. So it will bring in this equilibrium of destructive energy into beneficial energy in the exact same amount.
That's right.
So it's the ability to overturn, I guess,
yes,
negative destructive energy.
That's right. The involutionary forces are waxing strong at the moment with division and hatred and lack of brotherhood. And this will help to turn that around into goodwill.
He will flip it.
That's the greatest message of hope I've heard in a long time, guys. Well done. It really is, isn't it? We really need to get our head around that the forces of light will eventually prevail.
Yes,
They'll not only prevail, they'll wash away the forces of evil. Once that involutionary displacement is pushed back into the right place, then evil will disappear.
That's right. I mean, they have a role to play.
Yeah.
That is the point. They are the involutionary, and they control the Devic kingdom at the lower level, which includes our bodies, let's face it.
And they uphold the matter of the planet, so they have a role.
They do,
but they're out of their lane at the moment.
Yes, that's right.
And they've become bold and strong.
They've entered other domains.
Yeah, and entered the evolutionary domain.
Yes.
Yeah, so they need to be pushed back, and I suspect this avatar of synthesis is part of that.
Definitely.
The cavalry arriving.
Yes.
To flip that, rebalancing, correct.
Can you give us some examples of avatars that have descended?
Buddha, the last avatar of the Age of Aries, previous world teacher who manifested through the Prince Gautama around 500 BC, the embodiment of wisdom. He currently acts as the divine intermediary between Shambhala and hierarchy. And actually, Buddhists expect their next great teacher under the name Maitreya Buddha. So, Peter, Shambhala and hierarchy, there's a relationship there.
Yes.
And so what else have we got? Who else have we got? Under K. What have we got under K?
Krishna.
Krishna was a great avatar who appeared around 3000 BC. We're really going back here, and served as a vehicle of manifestation for the Lord Maitreya during the Age of Aries. By demonstrating the need to control the astral emotional nature, Krishna opened the door to the second initiation. Hindus expect a new incarnation of Krishna at the end of Kali Yuga, the Dark Age. Now, this Krishna opened the door to the second initiation. That's interesting, Peter. Is Benjamin Creme saying that the second initiation wasn't possible?
Well, generally, I guess so, because its mental focus is the requirement for the second initiation.
That's right.
It's to overcome the emotional thing, which we talk about a lot, and we're all astrally focused, so we need to raise the energies from the solar plexus to the heart center, and that is the role really of the. Once anyone can master that, they are ready to take the second initiation.
Okay, so I'm also looking under F, forces of darkness. We've kind of touched on that. Now, forces of darkness, and we've got in brackets, forces of evil, forces of materiality. The involutionary or materialistic forces which uphold the matter aspect of the planet. When they overstep their role and impinge upon the spiritual progress of humanity, they are designated as evil. So forces of light, and in brackets the forces of evolution, spiritual hierarchy on our planet, the planetary centre of love, wisdom. So Benjamin Creme has also said previously that evil is that ability to keep things separate. So evolution is unity. So therefore, evil is that which unpicks unity or strengthens separation. And he's also got here under evil anything which impedes evolutionary development. So it's that constant reference to the two roles on the planet, evolution and involution. And when that collision point where they meet, that's what we call evil.
I'm just thinking about that word separation, John. You know, most of this year you've talked about the word cooperation.
Yep.
It's the exact opposite.
Yes. Yep. And in fact, separation is, and Cream has talked about, one of the evil has convinced the Christian churches that separation is the way forward. And so that is an involutionary belief system. And so when Maitreya and the Masters emerge, the Master Jesus will take charge of the Christian churches. That teaching, I guess.
Because Christianity has just splintered off everywhere, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And that idea that we are separate is upheld by some religious thought.
Oh, that's right.
But actually we are one. And the weaponization and the politicization of Christianity, particularly as it's now, we're now witnessing in the United States of America, is actually a deep belief in separation. The difference between us and them, the difference between believers and non-believers, the difference between those that will go to heaven and those that will not. That's separation. It's not the truth.
No, that's right. It's just
everybody goes to heaven.
Yeah.
Sorry. And, you know, I'm constantly reminded that Jesus, when he walked in Palestine, worked in the margins with the prostitutes and the unwell and the criminal and the mentally unwell. He worked in the margins. He didn't work with the wealthy.
No.
He didn't pander to the wealthy. In fact, what did he do to the wealthy and the money lenders?
He tipped everything up.
He turned them out of the
temples.
The temples, right? Interesting stuff.
You are listening to Emergence News, and on today's program, John has got the spotlight. He's got the focus on the glossary of esoteric terms. What else have you got there, John?
Oh, look, I've just stumbled across the word Antichrist. Let's have a look at this. Antichrist is the energy of the will aspect of God in its involutionary phase, which destroys the old forms and relationships. For example, at the end of an age, to prepare the way for the building forces of the Christ principle, it manifested in Roman times through the Emperor Nero and in modern times through Hitler and 6 of his associates. So this Antichrist is that process of breaking down, of tearing down, and it's not, and it's present in nature. Right? Nature breaks down so that the new can rebuild. And I think my reading of this is actually, the Antichrist is the energy of the will aspect of God. And God breaks the old vessels so that the new can come through.
That's number one, Ray.
Ray 1.
Ray 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
The will of God.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
And I think Peter Stalin, not Peter Stalin, but Peter Stalin, had a number of ones, right?
Yes, he did too, but so too did Churchill. Churchill had 3 number ones.
Churchill had 3.
Yeah.
So, but Stalin broke. Stalin killed millions of people. So he broke down that Russian kind of model.
Yeah.
Mao Zedong broke down China.
Yes, he had 4 Ray ones, Mao Zedong.
Yeah. So this Antichrist, although we tend to think of it as a great force of evil, and certainly it does manifest in what we would perceive as evil, it's actually part of the process of breaking down so that renewal can come through.
And currently our civilization is under a process of breakdown.
Benjamin Creme has said on a number of occasions that our civilization is collapsing. As they all do, as they all should. And we are at this time witnessing that breaking down, which we're putting a lot of our attention on, the breaking down. We're not putting enough attention on what's coming through, what's new.
That's right.
We've talked about the young people. We've talked about the youth and the skills and the energy they bring. And also, if the current world media would only let us see, there is demonstrations going on all over the globe where the voice of the people is rising up to break down the current political and economic systems. That's that breaking down that every civilization must and should and is going through.
Hey, thanks for that, John. The glossary of esoteric terms.
It's gold, isn't it?
Yeah, you're a happy boy when you've got that open.
I'm just diving in there, Nigel. Yeah. It's like a warm bath. I'm just in there floating around, just
wallowing.
I love getting ideas. I love getting those definitions sorted.
Yes.
It's powerful.
Yeah, it's satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, glamour. You talked about glamour earlier, John. You gave us a description. And in which edition have you got there, Peter?
This is the April
edition of Share International.
That's right.
Okay, and you've got a reading there entitled Glamour.
I have indeed, and it's by Benjamin Cram's master. Of all the problems which beset humanity, there is none greater than the problem of glamour. It provides the basis for all our difficulties and dangers, and holds the vast majority of humanity in thrall. It is the root of every division and cleavage, and the source of every dimension of pain and suffering. It has at its roots in the ancient past of mankind, and all but very few are held under its sway. Essentially, glamour originates in man's sensuous feeling apparatus, the emotional or astral body, and man's identification with its actions. Through wrong identification with his feelings and emotions, his desire nature, he has surrounded himself with and lost himself in thick fogs of illusion and unreality. This constitutes the glamour in which most people live out their lives. Glamour is illusion on the plane of the emotions and provides the greatest obstacle to progress. For the individual and for the race, it throws a multitude of misconceptions across the path of the unwary, and the loftiest idealist is no freer from its influence. Nay, he is frequently more prone than the hardest cynic. To come to grips with glamour, humanity must recognise its mechanism, by which means the central heresy that we are separate is created and maintained. All that tends to reinforce the sense of separateness is the result of the action of glamour, and all that seeks to undermine that heresy works for its destruction. And glamour resides in the notion that man's desires are real, that they have their own intrinsic validity and purpose, whereas in truth they are the cause of all unhappiness, no more real, no less transient than the mirage in the desert. The well-meaning aspirant clouds his actions with desire for achievement. The idealist looks upon his as the only possible ideal and right-thinking people should hold. Often do we see the absurdity of national pride lead nations into actions against the interest of their people. These actions of glamour are the product of desire for power and the fulfillment of ambition. The light of scientists has rid the world of certain ancient glamours, but created others in their stead. The glamour of possessions enthralls half the world, while the other half go hungry and die in misery and want. Eventually humanity will work through this phase and establish a truer perception of reality. The myriad glamours which beset the race today will one day dissolve in the light of man's soul, invoked into manifestation as the new age proceeds. But the present is a time in which new types of energy are making their impact on man's lives and creating conditions of bewilderment and confusion. The heightening tension of the time fosters the glamours of fear and destruction, erupting into violence of all kinds. What can be done to free humanity from this ancient thraldom, in part innate in the nature of substance itself? How can man free himself from wrong identification and the tyranny of his self-centered thought forms? The answer lies in a shift of focus from the self to the group in a true identification with the soul and its relation to all souls. The light of the soul through the agency of mind is the great dissipator of glamour. And long ago the Buddha taught the conquering of desire, the noble middle path between the periods of opposites. In the light of the soul and the essential unity is seen, the astral waves subside, and the aspirant finds himself at initiation's gate.